Welcome to the Piece by Piece Autism Podcast with your hosts, Angie and Christi. They've worked 25 years to help Alec get the most out of life. Let them tell you how they're doing it.
Welcome back to Piece by Piece Autism Podcast. We're glad you are here. Christi and I are talking all about our years of experience with her youngest son, Alec. Alec has severe autism, is nonverbal, and lives in Utah in a group home setting. He's a pretty cool guy and has grown up to be quite a resilient and brilliant young man. However, lots of years of caretaking can be all-consuming, especially for whoever is running the programming or is the primary caregiver. Hopefully, this is a shared responsibility, but whether it is or isn't, the question looms, can autism moms and dads have a life outside of the day-to-day autism demands? So today's topic is all about caretaker burnout and kind of what that might look like and how to avoid it and take care of yourself first and foremost. So
I've compared having Alec and raising him to having an infant that never gets out of that kind of infant stage where my son is totally reliable on another human to get through life every single day.
mm-hmm.
And so the daily grind of that can really get to you after a while for someone that cannot literally survive without your help.
Yeah.
Someone always has to be with him. And I think you just live for the day whenever your child starts to gain a little bit more and a little bit more independence as you're raising a child.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he's gotten way more independent. He's actually sitting off to my left here right now because I'm on with him today, as you well know, Angie, from 1 to 10 p.m. is my shift. Oh, I'm sorry, 12:30 to 10 p.m. I got asked to come in 30 minutes earlier. And so he's off to my left, and hopefully we'll get through this whole podcast and I won't have to intervene with him. So we have gotten to that point.
Yeah, that's progress.
28 years in.
I was going to say, but it's not come without a lot of years of the daily grind.
A lot of work on that daily grind. But that daily grind of like looking back at what that was like when he was younger and having, of course, we have teachers coming in and out of the house and doing ABA in-home therapy most of his life. That's a lot to manage. And on top of that, have other children. And in my case, my husband was traveling 5 days a week for 20 years. And so it all pretty much fell onto my shoulders to be able to deal with all that.
Yeah, I'm sure it is easy to lose yourself and sometimes not be aware of your own needs because you are so in the throngs of it and focused on the demands and the needs coming first for your child that you neglect yourself.
Well, yeah. And that's the problem is like now, he's 28 years old. He is in his group home about 5 minutes away from me. I'm not responsible for him at night most of the time. However, I will be this Saturday night. And I do have some nights here and there where people need me to help out with that. And I love it. But the problem is, even to this day, I'm not plugged into what my sleep needs are because I was plugged into his needs for so long that my sleep needs are so confused. And I don't know that I ever get them back at this point. Like, do I?
That ship has sailed, I guess. Oh, no.
I know. I'm like, because I learned that I had to power through. If he decided he wasn't going to sleep until 3 a.m., who was going to stay up with him? He lived in our home for 20. How old was he, Angie, when we
22 years? He was 21, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of years of saying I'm going to put somebody else's sleep schedule ahead of my own.
Yep.
And now my body doesn't know. And I have this funny picture of myself going to my daughter's law school we had to go to this parent breakfast, and they took a picture of me because I'm sitting there with the speaker. He comes on, and I guess he was a little bit boring. And
And somebody must have fallen asleep, maybe?
well, yeah, I'm sitting in the chair and I just have my head in my hands and I'm just snoozing away. I hope I wasn't snoring, but but anyway, we survived 3 parent breakfasts, and only one of them I fell asleep in. So
Hey, that's a
you
win.
know, you know,
Yeah, Alec has
whatever.
not always been the best of sleepers. I remember having him, I would take shifts at my house, and more than once, I would wake up to him heavy breathing
Right in your
with
face.
a soda water in his hand, right in my face. And you go into that flight or fight. Like I was
Yeah,
about to take the guy out.
yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, what are you doing
Are you
awake?
breaking into my
Yeah.
house? Do I know you?
It's 2 a.m. Here's a drink and go back to bed. But
He was
uh,
thirsty, Angie. He needed to be
I know,
hydrated.
I
Come on.
know. Just
Come on,
that
come
heavy
on.
breathing though. Oh, gets me.
Yeah. Yeah, it is
So,
scary to have. Well, and in my house, he would always just come in and flip the light on, the
oh
overhead light,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh,
That
what is
shock.
that? It's such a shock to your system. It's
Uh,
awful. It is the worst. So
yeah.
I think my dad used to do that when he woke me up for school too,
Good
because he was
morning.
so cheerful in the morning. So he would pop in and boom with that light, and it's like, okay, could you be a little bit more gentle?
Yeah.
Come on. Um, we talked today earlier about how ABA, applied behavior analysis, is the method that we used with Alec.
Hmm.
I will sing its praises all day long. I love it, and I know because of it, and because of how hard we hit it with the ABA, and still do today, that we've got this guy that can sit over here to my left while I'm recording a podcast and can go to his haircut today and have very little support.
Hmm.
I know of all the benefits that we got from that, but I will tell you what it won't give you. And parents have got to advocate for this to change, is that I didn't find that there was a lot of reinforcement for parents.
So much is expected, demanded of you, yet it's just, okay, that happened. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Next goal, next thing.
One of our consultants would say, we're going to celebrate this for 1.5 minutes and we're going to go on to the next thing. And it's like, okay, well, that wasn't enough. This was really hard.
I'd like a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate
Chocolate.
a little bit more.
German chocolate, please. I started thinking about it over time and I thought, wait a second. I have this person come in. They're looking at all these great things my child is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And in turn, that means I actually did some great things, or I
Yeah.
helped bring that about. And I'm not trying to make this all about me, but I'm saying if I'm the manager of it all, I did something.
Yeah. You did a
So,
lot of things.
I mean, go back and listen to the imposter syndrome one. You can tell I'm still a little uneasy taking any credit, but that is a problem.
Yeah.
And if you believe ABA, you know that you have to have reinforcement to keep things going. And that goes for parents too, or whoever the caregivers are.
Yeah. Totally.
They need occasional, even if you don't love exactly everything they're doing. I think with ABA, aren't you, Angie, supposed to like give some praise and then give some criticism?
Yep. We like some praise and some feedback.
Feedback. Sorry.
Feedback. We're
That's the word.
very accustomed to taking feedback and learning
Right.
from our past and our data and all of that. But yeah, you're right. If things have moved along, it's not because you were not working and doing your part. So,
Well, and also it's never going to be exactly as you wanted it, because another thing I found about ABA is behavior analysts want everything to be done exactly as they say. And sometimes that does not work within a family, within
the complexities of other kids and managing a
Yes.
household, that it's
Yes.
just, you can only do so much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I would have loved for everything to have gone just that way, but
Mhm.
because of XYZ, it couldn't happen that way.
Yeah.
But look what else we accomplished. She's now not just eating corn dogs every day. So,
Yeah.
okay, there's that. or he's banging his head less, or, you know,
Yeah.
he bit no one this week. Okay. Can we celebrate that?
Yes. Where's my cake?
Yes.
Oh, totally.
Exactly.
In addition to some of these, we also discussed the isolation or loss of friends who maybe don't understand the difficulties or challenges that you experience in caring for somebody. They've got typical kids who are, like you said, gaining some independence, and those connections can be hard to keep, I guess, or relate in some ways, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think it's just so difficult to relate to if you're not experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I related this to like when I moved overseas and I went to the first repatriation meeting when I was moving back from Japan to the United States. And one of the first things the speaker said was, and by the way, no one's going to want to hear about your experience. So I want to just give you that shock right now.
Oh,
So don't
that,
don't try to tell people too much about your experience because their life has moved on. They're doing their own thing. They don't want to hear about it. And I was just like, but I've had all these wonderful experiences. I mean, every single day living in Tokyo, central Tokyo. My gosh, why wouldn't you want to hear about that? But
yeah.
guess what? When I got home, I found hardly anybody wanted to hear. I mean, literally no one wanted to hear about it.
Huh.
So, it's kind of
Yeah,
sad, but
that is sad.
and I kind of compare it to that because I think it's so foreign to some parents and some friends that they just don't know how to process it. They don't know how to approach you anymore. They don't want to include you in some plans because they know you've got this child that's going to
Mm-hmm.
need special accommodations, or they don't know. They just don't know. And instead of, you know, venturing into that, they just kind of shut down
Yeah,
and don't include you anymore. And it can feel so isolating.
that is difficult to have that on top of the stress and the
Yeah.
burden of caring already is really disappointing. So,
And you can no longer just grab your purse and run out the door and do something
mm-hmm,
fun with a friend.
mm-hmm,
You have to, oh, who's going to take care of my child? Is there going to be a shift change in the middle if you do have a home program? Or is my child going to be able to go to a clinic that I can
mm-hmm.
drop him off and that I do have a few hours in the day? But I mean, a lot of times it's you're on and you just lose that ability to just be spontaneous and do
Yeah,
this or that or take a trip or whatever.
yeah.
So,
Well, what do you recommend as maybe your favorite ways that you were able to recharge and get breaks? We've got a few ideas, but what were some of your favorites?
some of my favorites are exercise. Throughout my life, exercise has been important. And even if I was going out for a walk and pushing Alec in the stroller when he would tolerate that,
Yeah.
that was good. I got one of those bike trailers that
Mm-hmm.
is an enclosure where I can enclose him in that. And he didn't try to jump out of it once, but I think he liked that cocoon feeling.
Yeah.
And he liked it when I put beads in there and I put a book or two with him. And then I put a few stimmy toys and he would entertain himself in there. There was also, I think, times that I was able to take him to a gym where I could put him in the daycare, but not for very long.
Yeah.
That didn't really, and I think that is a tough one
That is
because
tricky.
most people are not going to be able to be equipped to care for him. We also took trips. We've talked about this before, trips as a family where our child would stay home who has autism.
Right.
And a lot of times it was Angie's sister who would keep Alec. And it did cause me anxiety to leave him home, but only for like the first 24 or so hours. And
Yeah.
then I kind of settled in and I said,
Yeah.
okay, because you're so hyper vigilant taking care of someone else and you're always waiting for what disaster are they going to hit next,
Mm-hmm.
that it's very hard to relax and just kind of say, okay, I don't have to be looking over my shoulder right now. I can just enjoy my other children.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed that and appreciated the professionals that encouraged us to do that. It also helps your other kids to be able to relax and be able to see you more in a mom role and not as a caretaker to their brother or sister.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not only good for you as the caretaker, but the siblings gain so much from having your full attention, not being on the sibling that has the high needs, you know?
Yeah.
As much as they love and want the best for the sibling, I do think that that time is valuable.
Yeah. We also had, I like to take a girl trip as much as I could.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen very often, but like when I lived in Japan, 2 of the years we did not have Alec because he was born the 3rd year. So I was able to do some trips prior to him coming along. And then it really caused me to get excited about them and want to do other ones, but it became harder as he came along. I know one that I went on in Denmark when we lived there. I really wanted to travel around Europe while I was that close, but it was really hard to do that with him. But we had one of my husband start laughing about this. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did it. My husband had a business partner who offered to keep my 2 boys for Mark and myself to take an anniversary trip.
Oh, how nice.
Well, it was so nice. It was so generous because he said it was so cool because he said he and his wife always did this for his niece who is autistic. They would offer for it would be his sister-in-law, to take the child and let them take a few-day trip.
Mm-hmm.
And they would do that every week. And all the siblings would take a turn providing this service to their sibling who had the autistic child.
How nice.
And I thought, that is so sweet. Okay, he's got experience, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I left Alec, and he was about 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And my other son, Todd, who he knew the ins and outs of Alex. So I felt kind of safe doing that. But I left them for a few days while I took a trip down to Germany. And well, I came back and there was a whole thing of those Huggy wipes that was flushed down into our old pipes in our house. It took 2 different levels of plumbers to get that undone.
Oh, no.
And I joked that I could have gotten Mary Poppins for cheaper.
Oh, no.
But this guy was doing it out of the kindness of his heart.
Yes.
And I think I've said it before. Have I? That he introduced my Todd to Band of Brothers.
Oh.
And he's just only, how old is he? Like 10?
Yeah.
11. And he's watching this war movie that's super graphic and all sorts of naughty words and stuff in it. Anyway, it was funny, but it was super sweet. His heart was in the right place. It was just so touching that he would do that.
That is sweet.
But then guess what? My husband ended up being called away to work. So he ended up flying to the U.S. during our 20th anniversary or whatever it was. And then I ended up going to Germany.
Oh my gosh.
My brother. So it was a great anniversary trip.
That's hilarious.
Anyway.
I know even for me with being a mom, it is tricky to find time and to remember to do the interests that you had prior to having kids. I used to sew and craft and had all these fun projects, even when I just had 1 or 2 of my kids, but I rarely have an opportunity to do that anymore. And just recently, I've decided that I would make time to do those. And it's been so nice to just in the evening unwind and find time and remember that I enjoy doing things with my hands and being creative and having an outlet that way. Yeah. So I think just remembering the interests that you had prior to a diagnosis or prior to this all-encompassing focus. And then I know you've mentioned this several times before, but find a support group and get involved with people, parents, aunts, uncles, siblings, whoever it is, caretakers, who you can relate to and who you can bond with in a way that you maybe couldn't with, your neighbor who's not in a similar situation. those support groups can be really vital. And also, like you had mentioned prior, talking about other therapies or other places that your children can benefit from in the community, and those kinds of things would definitely be beneficial for finding a support group.
Yeah, and you and I were talking about finding a support group recently, and then all of a sudden it pops up on my phone. Are you looking for a support group in Utah? Because there's a new support group. So they're advertising quite a bit right now for this group in Utah. And I thought that was so cool because, back in my day, we were not having these sorts of things. Our phone did not sit there and listen to us and figure out our needs and then just tell us what we needed, That is really cool that that is out there. That means that your support groups must be more accessible than they were back in my
Well, and I think Facebook makes it really easy. There's all sorts of Facebook groups, and not only for local groups, but just to get maybe vital information from people across the nation, or just connection. I think it's just, it comes down to finding connection with other people who you can relate to, and no better place than a support group of individuals who are in the throngs just like you are.
Well, and making sure that their interests match yours. Because like I've said before, I only wanted a group that was going to provide me, who do I get my haircut by? Or who did I get Alec's haircut by? I knew where to get my haircut. I didn't know where to get his haircut. I needed it for just informational. I didn't want it to be a downer. I didn't need that emotional part of it, but I did end up having some very good connections with people, and we had really good conversations. I remember one that was very heartwarming, talking about, why were we giving these children? And that stands out to me to this day as just like a really bonding, conversation that we had about our own individual beliefs about why did we get these kids. And it was really enlightening to see how other people look at that.
That's awesome. I think also another way to find some breaks or make that time to recharge is looking into some respite programs within your city or your school district. Maybe there's some organizations that understand autism or cater to that population and have caretakers that maybe do have the means to take care of your child, unlike the gym down the road. So it's so much more prevalent too, right? From the time when Alec was little and you were up against sorting out his diagnosis at that young age. So many people understand autism a lot more than they did 27 years ago. So.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that every place you go is going to be set up, but there are going to be a lot more opportunities to get respite care and a lot more opportunities for people to understand caretaker fatigue and that it's a real thing and that there does need to be some sort of support in the community for that or in your church or wherever you get your support.
All right. Now we're going to talk a little bit about long-term mental health and care for you as a parent or caregiver. It's maybe a little difficult when you are in the daily grind to think about what is going to happen in 10 years or 15 years or maybe even a year from where you're sitting. But
it's hard to think that way.
So what would your recommendations be for someone who's in the daily grind? You obviously are a little bit on the other side.
Yes.
With Alec being in a group home and thriving at 28.
Yeah. The big thing that I look back on more than anything is saying, thank heavens for that very first search that I did, saying, what would be the best for my child? How can I help this little child who seems so frustrated and can't communicate, etc.? And I found the word applied behavior analysis, not knowing at all what it was. And I am so grateful for that. I would encourage anyone to find a really good applied behavior analysis program. It's because of that today I can have Alex sitting off to my left here very calmly listening to music. Without it, he probably would not be living in a home setting at all. I mean, and that's the facts. That's not being dramatic. That's the facts for how severe he's afflicted with autism. So that's the first thing I would do. I would really, if I was in a position now with a young child, I would say get going on ABA and don't listen to this. There's a lot of chatter out there that says, oh, it's abusive, it's this, it's that. And I would encourage you to find a situation where you're comfortable with teaching and having your child acquire skills, because as they acquire skills and gain independence, they're happier and more settled and behaviors go down. And especially as you teach a communication method. And that we did through Soma at Halo Clinic in Austin.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people doing that now. And maybe yours is pro lo quo or whatever. You know, we've tried it all.
We've done that too. Yep.
If you do sign, you know, that's a start. We started with that. It's, you know, sky's the limit on communication nowadays. There's a lot of different things you can do. So
yeah, that's
I would
great.
do that. Start so that you have the best outcome. And you just got to think ahead, which I'm not great at doing. But in this case, I was.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with him being 28 and saying, oh, thank God. Thank God that I listened. Thank God that I was listening to promptings and different gut feelings along the way that got us to where we are now. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying I am grateful. I'm grateful. I also had to be really open when my child had gone to Colorado for camps and stuff. I encourage you all to look into Ascendigo. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity that Alec had, that they gave him to learn all kinds of, sorry, I think we can hear Alec over to the left now. Can we?
I couldn't hear him yet. His music's maybe popped in and out, but
okay.
It's cute.
His music may be popping in and out.
We're grateful he's here. He's the star of the show.
He's here. He got tired of wearing his headphones, so he pulled them off. I got him new ones, and they're really cool. But anyway, I had to be open to him moving out of the house, and that was really hard because I thought, oh, my child will always live with me. Oh, I called him the perpetual son, and I just thought he's going to be the perpetual son. And lo and behold, he goes to Ascendigo. They offer him a spot in this group home, and he is just like pumped, raring to go.
Yeah.
And Angie and I are like taking him over to visit, and he's just like, "Can't I stay overnight?" And we're like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! Hold back. We got to check this out." And it ended up being a wonderful place for us to cut our teeth on living in a group home.
Yeah.
And now he's 5 minutes away from me, but I still feel like, some days I just want to go over and give him a big kiss before bed and say prayers and stuff. Just because I'm like, I just feel so connected to him.
Yeah.
And I love him
so easy to miss.
Tell us about boundaries, Angie. We were just talking about this. Like,
oh, this one's tricky.
Yeah.
Setting boundaries is tricky. I was thinking through, obviously, you're not setting boundaries with your child. Their needs are their needs and have to be met by you as the caretaker. So obviously, we're not talking about setting boundaries with your special needs child.
Correct.
But it starts to be difficult when there are demands placed on you outside of your home from school expectations and PTO parents and being a room mom, or different roles that you can maybe play in your church or within your community. And there comes a time and place to just say, I am doing what I can do.
Yeah.
And that is all I can do. And that is enough. Just know that what you are doing within your home for your child is enough. So set those boundaries and be open to saying, thank you for the invitation. I cannot do that right now, but maybe check in with me later. Because you also don't want to shut yourself off from opportunities or invites or people extending a hand in some way. So that's where I feel like it can be a little bit tricky, is maintaining your sanity and not taking on more than you can do without totally feeling this burnout, but also allowing yourself to be involved to a certain extent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think it makes a lot of sense. And I like that you brought that up to me, because boundaries are a tricky thing. because if you just isolate yourself more by these boundaries, that's not good.
Yeah.
And you do want to be a part of the community as much as you can. You do
Yeah.
want to be part of your other children's life as much as you can. But you've got this one person or some people have more than one
Yeah.
child who's really pulling at their resources and energy. All kinds of resources. So that is that's rough. But if you do not take care of you, who will? I mean,
Absolutely.
you're the only one in your own brain and your own body saying, I know how much more I can handle. And it's not much some of the time. That's what you'll be saying.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to be self-aware in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it just is definitely being aware and honest with yourself as to how much you can take on.
Yeah. And also, my talk therapist has always said that I should say, I'm not willing to do that. I can do a lot of things. I can do a
Yes.
lot of things. I've got a huge capacity for doing things. I don't want to brag, but I do. I have a huge capacity, but I'm not willing to always do everything that I can do. So if that little change in how you say it helps, somehow it psychologically helps me. I don't know why.
Well, it just shuts down the argument,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh,
That
can
may
you
be
do
what it is.
that?
It's a
Yeah.
very definitive. I'm not willing to do it.
No negotiation.
Yeah. I think
So-
also you have to consider your community and who's willing to help you and let them help you. Sometimes no, I can do it. No, I can do it. No, I can do it. So I think being open to saying this person's willing to help, like my husband's business partner was willing to.
and we love him for it.
We love him so much. That was the coolest thing. But that came out of nowhere. I would have never expected one of his business associates to say, let me help you.
Yeah.
Let me ease your burden. And I'm like, wow, and we've
Yeah.
had our church do that. We've had our church not do that. And it's fun the times that they do it and
Yeah.
being able to look back on it and feeling super touched by it. Like, wow, that person was so aware of my needs, and that person doesn't even have a child with special needs. He had a lot of kids, but he didn't have, one who had special needs, but he was super sensitive to what we needed as far as being in his congregation. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that was cool. Maybe you
That's
need a
very
talk therapist. I have gotten a lot out of having a talk therapist. I have.
Absolutely.
Found a good one. Yeah.
Any of those things where you are prioritizing yourself again so that you can have enough to give without all of the symptoms of burnout that really mimic depression, right? As we're looking through some of them, it's, neglecting yourself or just feeling isolated, those kinds of
Forgetting
things.
to eat. Now that one, I haven't had that one happen. Wow. I don't really understand that, but yeah, I guess that could happen. You could lose yourself so much in it that you forget to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And your physical needs. So
yeah.
And mental
needs. We really do encourage you to find yourself and take time to prioritize, because the needs of those you're taking care of need you to be your best self, really.
Yeah.
And
good point.
That only can happen if you're prioritizing you. So,
well, and also I think getting to the point that I am now, sometimes one of my regrets is that I didn't find a better way to get on a good sleep schedule, or that I didn't, that I didn't find ways to cope better.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful to still be here.
I'm grateful you're here too.
Thank you so much, Angie. I appreciate that.
Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Piece by Piece. If you're loving these conversations as much as we are, hit that follow button, share the show, and help us spread the word, because every piece of the story matters. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Piece by Piece Autism Podcast. That's PIECE, Piece by Piece Autism Podcast. We will talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.